Hi everybody, and thanks for watching. Today I have a cute little shaker card I wanted to share with you. Right now I'm taking my Tumbled Glass Distress ink and I just want to put a light layer down on my white cardstock. I'm going to be using this tumbled glass to sort of color in a stamp that I'm going to be using. I'm kind of doing it backwards. I'm laying down the color first and then I'll be stamping over the top of it. It's just a faster way to sort of color a stamp if you're not too worried about too much coloring or detail. I just thought that this would be the easiest for the card I was making, and I thought it would go well with the overall look. So I'm just putting down a light layer of tumbled glass and try not to get any harsh edges with my blending tool. So I was pretty happy with that color, so I went ahead and I took my little elephant image from, I think this is Simon Says Stamp's birthday celebration. I'm not quite sure the whole name of it, but I'm taking this little elephant and I'm going to be inking him up with some VersaFine Black Onyx ink. This is a permanent ink and it's waterproof, so if you do any coloring with it or anything, it shouldn't smudge or run. I'm not really doing much other coloring than the tumbled glass, but I'm going to come in with some Wink of Stella that I'm going to grab here in a second. So here's my silver Wink of Stella. It's not clear, it does put down some silver color, but I thought that would be fine for this card. I'm going to go in and color some of his stripes and also the toes on our elephant just to give a little bit of color and some glimmer. I'm just carefully coloring in some stripes and trying not to get out of the lines. I didn't do a whole lot of coloring on this elephant. I kind of wanted to keep the image soft and maybe could use it for a little boy's birthday or a kid's birthday card or something, so I didn't think I really needed a whole lot of coloring, so I just pretty much left it tumbled glass blue and a little bit of silver. So that pretty much colors in the elephant image, and I don't have a coordinating die for this set, so I'm just going to go ahead and fussy cut it out. Hopefully you can see some of the shimmer there in front of the camera. So I'm going ahead and I'm just cutting out my little elephant. I'm going to set him aside. Now I'll be working on the actual window part of my shaker card. I picked some of this chevron gray patterned paper, and I have a little scalloped square die that I'm going to be using with my Sizzix. So I'm just going to center that on my paper to cut out a little window. And I'm using some tape here to hold it in place as I run it through my Sizzix. So now I have my window all cut out, and I'm just carefully removing the tape and the die cut, so I don't want to rip any of that that paper. And I'll set that little die cut aside. I can use it again for another project or another card. Next, I'm looking for a piece of vellum. This is a piece that I use for another card, and I'm just going to use this little scrap here that will be perfect size for my window. I'm cutting it down to size, and I'm going to put it on the back of my cardstock. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to lay this out and glue it down. And the adhesive that I'm going to use for this is Tombow Stamp Runner. I really like this adhesive. It holds really well, and it's really versatile. You'll see me use it again in this video for another thing I'm doing on the card. I'm just running it around the window here, and then I'll be putting my vellum down on top of it. Trying to make sure I get all the corners, because when I fill this window with some of the things that'll be shaking inside, I don't want any of them to slip out. So I have my vellum adhered down, and I'm just pushing really good to make sure it's stuck and it won't move anywhere. And that is the front window for the front of the card. Now I took a little scrap piece of cardstock, and I'm going to make sort of a background for the back of the window. You won't see it too much, but you will see some of this blue coming through instead of just a plain white. So I'm just taking some more tumbled glass, and I'm putting that on my little background piece here. I'm just trying to blend in a nice even layer of the color. I'm also taking some, I can't see the color, broken china, that's what it is. I'm taking some broken china blue and coming in around the edges and giving it a little bit of darker blue. Since I figured the vellum, you can't quite see too clearly through the vellum, so I wanted it a little bit darker because it's not going to show up as bright as you look through the vellum. Then on top of my blue colors here, I am going to be using some Pearl Glimmer Mist. I'm shaking it up to get the shimmer going inside. When you're shaking your Glimmer Mist, you don't want to shake it up and down because that could clog the spray nozzle. You want to shake it side to side. So here I'm spraying some over the top. And then I'm taking my towel and just blotting away some of the excess moisture and clean up my craft area. Hopefully you can see some of that shimmer in the light. So I'm hitting it with my heat gun to just speed up this drying process. And that's the background for my little window. Now I'm going to be placing it right over the top. And I decided I liked that look, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my Stamp Runner adhesive again. And I'm putting it all around the window and on the whole back of this window panel for the card. And then I'm gonna fill the little window with some die cuts and things to make my little shaker. Here I'm grabbing some little stars that I already die cut, and I'm going to throw them in the middle there, just in a little pile, so I know I can get them all in the right spot. And I'm also taking a little bit of silver glitter and shaking a little bit on. I don't want too much because I don't want it falling all over the place, but a little bit I thought would be nice. I'm just going to flip my card over. Oh, first I took some anti-static and then rubbed it on that vellum there so some of the stars and glitters won't stick too much. But when you're doing a shaker card without foam between the two layers, you're not going to get it to shake too much, just a little bit. So I got that done, and now I'm going to adhere it down to my cardstock base. I'm taking my Tombow stamp adhesive again. I'm going to put it on the whole back of my card window panel here and then adhere it down. I want to make sure it's stuck down really well because I don't want any of those stars or glitters to come falling out. Now I'm taking my little elephant and I'm deciding where I want to put him. I thought that looked pretty good, so I'm going to take some of my foam adhesive. These are just little squares and putting them on the back. Trying to cover most of that area there so it won't get warped or crushed if you send it in the mail. The fun part of these little foam adhesives is always pulling off the little backing. It seems to always take me forever. Then I just placed him on the front of the card. And I really liked how that looked. And I'm going to start working on the sentiment. So I went ahead and I die cut this little birthday with my Sizzix. I'm just popping it out of the die there. I'm trying to be careful because this die really, the paper really sticks inside of it. So I don't want to tear this word. So I'm trying to be careful as I pull it out. So I liked how the word looked, and I didn't think I wanted to color it because I like that white sentiment. So the only thing I'm going to do with it is take a little bit more of my Pearl Glimmer Mist and spritz some over the top and dry it, and it'll give it a little bit of shimmer. So I'm pulling out my old craft towel and putting it down just to spray on top of. So now I'm going to be using my Tombow adhesive again, and one of the really nice things about this stamp runner is you can use it on some of these smaller dies, maybe smaller word dies, and just run it over the top and it won't stick to anything except for your cardstock, so you won't get any of that adhesive peeking out in different places that it's not supposed to. So it really makes it really easy to stick down some of these sentiments. Before I've had to try to put glue on the back and it gets messy, and I'm trying to show you there that you really don't see much of the adhesive sticking out. So I really like it for this purpose. It just makes it so easy and quick to adhere your smaller die cuts down. So now I'm just going to add one more little phrase there with a stamp from the stamp set. I'm going to put it on my acrylic block and use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink again. And that will pretty much be it for the card. I didn't show on the video, but I did afterwards. I went back and also added a few stars around the elephant and the window, and I just thought that kind of pulled it all together. So you should see that in the final photo at the end. But this was pretty much it for the card for today. It was pretty fun figuring out how to put it together. I'm kind of new to shaker cards, so I've tried a few in the past and they just didn't come out right, but I thought this one was cute and it would be great for a kid's birthday card or maybe a little baby boy's card to send to a new parent. So thank you for watching, and I hope I'll catch you next time.